Going to be learning our ink technique, and we're going to be doing our mummy. Okay, so let's go over our supplies on our table to make sure that we have everything that we need. As I say something and you don't have it, please go to the cart or wherever you need to go to find that item. You have your sheet, your handout with your designs on them. You have your nail art packet, okay, your nail chart packet that has all your charts. You have something to write with. I'm using a Sharpie so you can see well on the screen, but use something to write with. You've covered your table with the yellow paper, or you're using your nail art mat. You have a file. You have your tip cutter. I gave you 2 nail tips, 2 white nail tips. You are currently their nail tip extension, so you use your tip cutter to make them into press-ons, and you're filing that in. I would also like for you to go ahead and shape your nails very quickly. Stiletto, coffin, squirrel. Don't spend too much time on the shaping. We're not practicing shaping. I just need you to give them a shape. We are practicing the nail techniques, okay? So just very, very quickly shape them as we're going through this. You need a nail dotter, a dotting tool, preferably one that has 2 different size dots on either end. These are for the eyeballs. You have your thin nail art brushes. You have a pink lint-free wipe. You have a little piece of foil with a cotton pad in the middle. We're using as our palette and our wipe. You have a little Dixie cup with white acrylic paint and a lid, and you have a Dixie cup with black acrylic paint and a lid. Mr. Mayor's went to the dollar store yesterday to get nail polish, and I got distracted by the cute Halloween stuff, so I forgot the nail polish, but I got really cute Halloween stuff. So I was going to bring out the acrylic paints at a later time when we do flowers, but we're just going to pull it out now. It's fine. So that's why you have the white and the black acrylic paints. Now these are the paints that you can get at the art supply store, okay? And a lot of people, artists use it with nail design because it does not dry as fast as lacquer, as polish, okay? So you have those 2. You're going to share that with your neighbor. You have a little damping dish of alcohol. You just need just a little bit. And then you have your little nail art box where you're going to be dumping down your nail designs, okay? Or if you're doing it on your nail sticks, that's fine. Or if you're not collecting your designs, that's okay too. You have a top coat of gel. We're going to do top coat of gel because the acrylic does tend to dry very matte-like, so we're going to give it a good shine. And you have your ink. So my bottle looks different than yours. Mine is a round bottle. Yours is an oval bottle. If you put the container up to the sky, you can kind of see the tone of the color. These are the inks, the new product we're going to be working with today. Everybody's got everything? Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is do this design here. You see in the middle. This is a marble design, okay? We're going to play with the ink product first. We're going to do our base on our white nail tip so that you can then put your mummy designs on top, okay? So we're going to move this to the side. Give us some space. We're done shaping our nail tips. We're going to bring our nail tips to the front. I'm going to scoot in some. Oh, and then you also have your lamp. It's plugged in and it's working. Bring it nice and close here. Okay, so we need a brush, our 2 nail tips. We need our alcohol in our damping dish and the color of your choice. on your inks. I'm going to be using purple and blue because you can see them really, really nice. Okay. Alright. Actually, I'm going to use purple and pink. Let's do that. Nice combination. Okay, so with your, and then I have my little lint-free wipe and such to the side. Okay, as far as for your product, let's go over the product, what that does, how that works, etc. Okay, this is my brown and my white ink. The ink is it's very runny. It's like water. Okay. When you put this down on the nail, if you put it on a dark nail, you can't see it. So it's got to be on a light nail, which is why we practice on white nail tips. What we're going to do is we're going to take some of the ink. We're going to drop it down a certain way on our nail tip, and we're going to use alcohol to spread it, and you're going to see what happens. You can use the same technique and practice the same technique with a permanent marker. The same concept. On a white tip, you're going to draw on the tip, then use your alcohol to spread the ink. So when you're practicing your movement of your ink, practice with the Sharpie so you don't waste your ink product. Okay. Alright, I'm going to use the blue and the pink colors. First I'm going to do just the blue or just the pink, and I'm going to mix my colors. If you don't like the colors you have, I look at your neighbors around, you can use some of their colors, it's fine. Now, if I were to use my white and my brown, because I'm making a beige type of a marble look with some gold specks and such, that's beautiful, but I've got to make sure to take care of my product and make sure that I am able to use it when I use my next client that is using red, yellow, maybe pink. They don't want brown in their design. So, if I'm mixing these two on my nail tip, I have to make sure to wipe my brush before I put it back into my container, because if not, my clear is not going to be brown. Or let's say I'm using clear and red, and I use the clear brush over the red, well, I just messed up my container, my whole product. It's not clear anymore. It's pink. Okay? So, keep that in mind. Alright, so here are the supplies that we need. Okay? So we're going to start with our pink. I'm going to take my big nail tip, and with this we're just going to just kind of roll it or turn it up and down. Don't need to shake it or anything. We're going to have it open. It is ink. It does evaporate quickly, so make sure you always keep it closed when not in use. You're going to roll your stem, and then you're going to wipe the belly of your brush. You're going to come and you're going to drop 3 drops of ink on our nail tip. You're then going to dip your brush into into your alcohol. Wipe the belly of the brush, and then you're going to come over the top and place your alcohol and spread your ink. Once it begins to dry, you're going to start seeing the design that it creates. Now, almost all of your inks have another pigment in them. So, with my pink, you can see a little bit of purple coming out. With my blue, you'll see a little bit of green coming out. With my red, you'll see a little bit of orange. Each one has a different undertone. Make sure you don't have a lot of alcohol in your brush. Dip your brush into your alcohol and then wipe it on your little sponge. And wipe it on your lint-free wipe to make sure you don't pick up any lint. You can then take a second coat, swirl your stem, wipe the belly, and do 3 diagonal dots. You can spread that with the brush on its own. And you're going to see how that on its own creates designs. depending on how you move it. Then you can dip your brush into your alcohol and drop down some beads of alcohol, and you're going to see the different shades and tones that come about. Wipe your brush on the pad, wipe it on the lint-free wipe, and if you have any pools or little puddles of ink, tap those with your brush to pick them up. You have to give it time to dry to do the whole deal. Pick up a little bit of alcohol, wipe both sides of the brush, drop down some more alcohol, and you can see that you can move the product. If you covered it too much, use your alcohol to move the product to expose some more of your white nail tip. This is going to give you the marble effect. At one point, too much is too much. Okay? So you want to make sure that when you are doing this, you have your end result in mind. If you want a big marble swirl, then you're going to swirl a lot. If you want a little marble swirl, then you just use a little bit. This is using just one pigment, one ink. Okay? We're going to put that one down. Pick up your other nail tip, the small one. You're going to work on a thinner, smaller confined space, which requires a little bit more thinking if you're going to be using two colors, because when you mix two together, too much is too much at one point. So, I'm going to use my blue first, and then my pink. I take my nail tip, I'm going to swirl my blue, I'm going to wipe the belly, I'm going to drop off 3 dots of my ink. Then I'm going to, I can on its own swirl the blue without picking up any alcohol if I wanted to, or I can pick up some alcohol and I can come and swirl my color. When I pick up my alcohol, that's when my color changes. I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to swipe the stem of my brush. I'm going to wipe the belly of my brush, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to give me 3 more dots. Now I just use 3 because it's easy to remember, but you can use 1. You can use 2 dots. I'm going to move the product around before I add any alcohol. The product on its own will do its thing. It will stay true to the color of the product. When you come in and start to add the alcohol, that's when the colors start to vary. That's when you start to get your blue, violet hues inside of your blue. Okay, or your orange in your red. If you don't want those colors, don't use alcohol, use just the ink on its own. I'm going to let that dry. I need it to dry. I'm going to close my container, my ink, my polish, my ink bottle. Okay, I'm going to take my pink. I'm going to swirl my stem. I'm going to wipe the belly of the brush, and then I'm going to drop off 2 dots. And before I put my brush back into my bottle, I'm going to wipe on my lint-free wipe to make sure that I don't have any blue on my product brush. And then I can take my brush and spread that around. Again, if I want the ink in its purest form, purest color, I'm not going to add alcohol. If I want a little bit, I'm going to wipe my brush, I'm going to add a little bit of alcohol on my brush, and I'm going to come in, I'm going to spread it, and you're going to see that it's going to bloom, okay, to the edges, and the color variation will slightly change. I need that to dry before I go in to make a new layer. So it's alcohol, it's ink, it's going to dry super fast. I'm going to pick up some more of my pink. Maybe I drop 1, maybe I drop 2. I'm going to wipe my brush on my lint-free wipe, make sure there's no ink or color on that. And then I'm going to come through. If I want true to color, I'm not adding alcohol. If I want a variation of color and a little bit more of a bloom, I'm going to add a little bit of alcohol. Again, if you have pools of product, like little spots of just like there's too much liquid here, wipe your brush off and then just tap your brush, and your brush, it will absorb the excess product. If you come to a point where you did too much, wipe your brush off all the way, dip it into the alcohol, wipe your brush, wipe it on the lint-free wipe, and then pick up a little bit of alcohol and then just push the product to remove, to expose some more of the white tip. Okay? So it is somewhat forgiving, and there's no, right or wrong way. It's just a technique. You can perfect your technique. And when you're done with it, make sure to close off your bottle. So I got a pink one and I got a purple one that I made with my pink and my blue. Then I got just purple. Then I have just blue. And then I have a blue and a yellow, which made green. On the wall, you can't see the pigment very well, but they are a little bit more concentrated in color. Okay. Dip your brush into your alcohol, swirl it gently on the side a little bit, and wipe off to make sure that it's nice and clean. Put your alcohol to the side. We're done with the alcohol for now. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to create our mummy over the top of our over our inked design. So, this is where we're going to come in with our drawing. So there's two mummies on here. One you can't really see down at the bottom, but you do have this mummy here. This is a more advanced design. So I'm going to show you how to do a very basic mummy and then how to expand it a little bit to make it look more like a mummy. And then I'm going to show you the advanced design. Okay? Now, a client comes in. She's got pinky fingers like me. Small nail plate. She has this picture and she says, I want that, but I don't want nail tips. I just want them on my finger. No ma'am. I can't. I can't. You would have to be amazing. A really good artist. I'm not saying you're not. Okay. You have to be really good and a steady hand and a very thin brush to put that entire design with all of those lines on this small nail. Like it's just really tiny, okay? So you have to be realistic with your clients and say, okay, ma'am, your nails are this short, this picture is this long. Your nails are square, this is a stiletto or a coffin or an almond or whatever. It's not going to look the same. I can get it close. This is kind of what it's going to look like. Are you okay with that? Make sure she's okay with it before you do the whole set, do the whole gel top coat. And then she's about to pay, and she's like, I don't like it. I'm not paying for it. Then you say, okay, have a seat. We're going to soak them off because you're not walking out of the salon with my designs on them. I just spent all this time in product. I can't get back. You're not walking out with them. You should have told me at the beginning. But that's also on you because you should have the consultation with your client at the beginning, okay? A lot of people will bring you Instagram pictures. People don't walk around with filters on their face all day or over their nails all day. So you have to be very realistic with your client on their expectations and what you're going to be able to give them. Also, if you're trying to do any one of these designs on my little pinky nail, and the only brush that you have is this brush, right? Okay, be honest with yourself and your client. So as an artist, you always want to be looking for brushes to be able to do different designs. So we're going to start now. I've been doing the whole day, the whole class, so I'm going to do these last three, but you do whatever spot that you left off up here is fine. Okay, I'm going to bring this up a little bit closer so you guys can see. Okay, let's draw it out so we have a muscle memory and know what our plan is. Alright, so we're going to start here, and this is stemmed and based off of the zebra design we did at the very beginning with our animal print. So here we're going to do an acute triangle. Okay, from the left, and then an acute triangle from the right, and it can be slightly angled. And then slightly angled, we're going to do two parallel lines. And this is where the eyes are going to go. I'm not going to fill it in so you can see where the eyes are, but typically it's one dark thick black line. Okay. Then you continue and you do another acute triangle and another one and one last one. That is the most basic mummy design that you can create. Okay? Again, stemming off of the zebra designs that we did from the beginning of nail art. Now, you're trying to do this on a pinky nail this size. Okay, you can do that. Sometimes the design is too big to fit on the pinky nail and you can't run it all the way across because it's going to mush together. So, keep it separated. But if you can, here's how to make this more mummy-like. So take the tip of the acute triangle and you're going to bring it all the way across on all of your triangles like so. All the way across. Do you see how that makes it look a little bit more mummy-like? Okay, take a second after you're done drawing it and then check your neighbor. Hey neighbor, let me see. What does yours look like? Like a mummy or like not a mummy? Okay? Again, that is the most basic way of doing the mummy. Then, let's do our advanced one. Okay? Let's take a look at this one on your sheet. Client comes in with that Pinterest picture. You're like, ooh, it's a lot of, I don't know, I can't do that. You say, I can't do that. They say, okay, I'm going to go to the nail tech. Who can? Who can I give my money to? You got bills to pay, right? So you say, yes, have a seat. And then you go to the back and you figure it out. Like henna that you learned last year, take a big crazy design, you find a starting point and break it down. So that's what we're going to do. On this one, we're going to start off with our horizontal lines like so. The middle, top middle of the nail. And this is where the eyeballs are going to go. So I'm not going to color in, but I'm just going to put the little eyeballs here. But do know that is one long thick stripe that you're going to color in. Okay? Okay. You're going to do two lines, two horizontal lines above the eyes, like so. From here, you're going to do, and Sophia, you can do it on the back of your paper. You're going to do two triangles. So, from the top line, you're going to come down into a triangle. Like so, and then the second line you're going to come down to a triangle like so. So it's two triangles pointing downward. Okay? Easy enough, right? At the bottom of the eyes, you're going to continue and do horizontal lines again, depending on how long the nail is. If it's a short nail, it's less lines. If it's a long nail, it's more lines. You're going to do the same thing except for your triangles are now going to be inverted. You turn them around. So now your triangle is pointing upward like so. And the next one upward like so. And finish off with the last one. Well, your client might say, well, that's a little bit like symmetrical. It's a little too... Okay, not a problem. Let's switch it up. Same technique, you're just shifting your triangles sideways. So let's do it again, last time. You're going to draw your horizontal lines, which is your thick band. Color it in. You're going to put your eyeballs in. That's where the eyeballs go. I'm not going to color it in so you can note that. Two lines above the eyes, horizontal, and you're going to do the triangle, but don't take the triangle to the middle. Shift it. To the right or left, doesn't matter. So I'm going to come down to the left. Okay, and then maybe the next triangle I'm going to come down to the right. So it's a little off center in either direction. You can go right, left, or you can go right, left, right. It's your choice. On the bottom of the eyes, you're going to do your horizontal lines. And same thing, except remember, a triangle is not going upwards. So, maybe I want to go a little bit to the right. Maybe I want to go slightly to the left. And then like maybe all the way to the left. It's totally up to you on how you're going to draw your lines. Remember, if your client has short nails, you might not be able to put 3 lines. You might be only able to put 2. If they have really long, the booger picker nails, as we like to call them, maybe you put 10 nails. 10 lines. Okay? Alright. Switch your paper with your neighbor. And then you ladies, if you'll switch your paper all the way, okay? And take a look at your neighbor's designs. Not in a negative way, but positively critique their designs. Take a look at how they did it. What is different from your design? What can you learn from that? What feedback can you give them? Girlfriend, we need to focus on the lines. Or hey, yeah, looks really great. Oh, okay, yeah. Maybe I can try that next time. Okay, put your papers back.
9:30 ADA attendance reminder.
Okay, I'm gonna put my little nail here, and I did this one here. Okay, so on the ink nail, whichever one that you want to start with, the big wide one or the small thin one, you're gonna take your white and your black acrylic paint, and you're going to color. You're going to do both nails, the basic and then the advanced. The basic with the triangles not going across, or the basic with the triangles going all the way across. The advanced with the triangles going straight down the middle, or the advanced with the triangles going either direction. Okay? I want to remind you. Okay? Reminder. Your acrylic paint. Artists use the acrylic paint because they don't dry as fast as nail polish, but they don't dry as fast as nail polish. So use a little bit of product. Remember, just like yesterday, the first layer is just to outline. It is simply to create your design. You're not trying to add pigment. So the first section, the first layer, is going to be okay. You're going to be able to see your ink underneath. Okay. Do your outline, okay? You're going to do your first layer, outline it. You like it, let it dry. Let it dry. It is a thin layer, so dry fast. Then go back in and do your second layer, and that's when you give it a good coat. If you don't let it dry, when you put your top coat over, this is what it's going to be. It's going to smear. Your whole design will smear. So you have to make sure that it's dry. Okay? When you're done, I'd like for you to share with your neighbors your design. Yes, you're going to use the black acrylic paint. You're going to share with your neighbor, and then for the eyeballs, the white acrylic paint. And with your guiding tool in there, create your eyeballs. Okay? I'm going to come around to see what you're doing, if you need any help, and if there's anything that I can kind of guide you with. You have the rest of the class. Is anybody being pulled for anything today? Alright, so you have the rest of the class time to create both looks. Both looks, any variation on your white nail tips with your inks. On Friday, you will have time in class while watching Face Off. You can play with the nail art if you like. I'll have all the supplies up for you. I'm going to let you get started, put the music on, and then come around after taking attendance. Help you guys if you have any questions. Other than that, that's all I have for you today.